how to improve your speech and articulation. So this is going to be one of the less popular videos. It's probably not going to get that many likes. It's probably not going to get much engagement at all. But I'm making the video because I used to really struggle with this. I had a learning disability all through school, elementary school, middle school, high school, even college. It took me 7 years to finish school, but I persevered. And I used to struggle with having conversation, talking to women, talking to strangers in person, speaking on camera and on person. Of course, this is a whole separate skill set in itself, but this video is simply just to help you by giving you actionable advice, tactical advice, and actionable steps that you can take to start improving today. And of course, just like anything, nothing happens overnight, right? It takes time to learn how to speak better. I started shooting content years ago, maybe 5-6 years ago. I was never really consistent with it, but I started YouTube back in January. And I've had a lot of reps at this point, a lot of time in front of the camera. But today I'm just going to help you so that way you can communicate better. You can sound better, be more articulate in your speech. And coming from someone who had a learning disability, coming from someone who used to struggle in conversation with being able to talk to strangers, people that I knew, being able to carry an intellectual conversation and not get tripped up on my words. I used to be and now I'm hyper aware of that when I'm speaking, and also when I'm listening to someone else speak. I pick up on those filler words so easily now. And really the biggest thing is being mindful. I can't stress this enough. Just paying attention. It's being mindful of what you're saying. But let me break it down for you. So the first thing is to slow down when speaking. Slow down when you're speaking. Because when you slow down, it gives you time. See, I just did it almost right there. When you slow down when you're speaking, it gives your thoughts, your brain, an idea to catch up with your mouth, right? Slowing down, it keeps you more aware of the present moment and what you're saying, and make sure that what you're saying makes sense. It also prevents any kind of filler words like and like, and sometimes filler words can be used strategically. You don't have to sound like a robot, but just slow down when you're talking. It's also about putting yourself in the right environment. So I cold approached over 100 women in the past because I knew that I needed work with that. I needed more confidence, getting over approach anxiety, and just being able to communicate better. I also read a lot of books on it. I studied people like Hamza. I know if you've seen YouTube, right? Hamza, he's an excellent communicator. He has an amazing voice. He speaks very well. He has a very resonant voice, and he communicates very, very well. Now, he's put a lot of effort into that. There's some people where it might naturally be easier for them to do it, right? I think some people are more naturally gifted or more naturally inclined to be a better speaker. But that doesn't mean that they still didn't have to double down on it and get the reps in. And it takes time to develop any skill sets, right? Of course it does. Jordan Peterson, I've listened to him a lot. He talks about communication and being articulate he's very articulate with his words. Now, he does tend to use a lot of bigger words, which I don't think is always necessary. I think you should use language that's natural to you. And depending on your audience, whoever you're talking to, use language that fits the environment. Do you know what I mean? So reading books on communication really helped a lot. And listening to and watching on YouTube different creators who I admire, who I think speak really well, and just study them over time. You can also record voice memos or record a video of yourself and If you want to improve how you are on camera, you can watch your recording over and critique yourself. You can play back your recording, see how you sound without any camera and just adjust from that. That's what I did for YouTube. That helped me a lot. But I think being mindful is really helpful. Reading books on this, listening to people that you think are really good speakers, you communicate really well. I think Lewis Howes communicates really well. A lot of influencers do. I mean, Hamza communicates really well, Jordan Peterson, with a lot of depth. But also, like I said, putting yourself in the environment. So I went into sales for my career. My first technical sales job was I was a personal trainer working at a big box gym, LA Fitness. So I was talking to people all day, every day. And I love that aspect. And then I started my own personal training business. So I was still doing that. And then when I shifted to doing that part-time, I got a corporate job in sales for almost 4 years. In corporate sales, I was talking on the phone every single day, on the phone, Zoom calls. So I was getting a lot of reps in, a lot of practice. And it's one of those things where if you don't use it, you lose it. There was a period of time where I wasn't very social. Maybe it was about 9 or 10 months that I wasn't really going out much. I was very focused on just hitting the gym. I was kind of a monk mode period. And I was just not really going out, not really socializing, not going on dates or anything like that. I wasn't really engaging with people too often. So the skill set started to diminish because if you don't use it, you lose it. And I think the more that you use it, the more you're going to get better at it. So, and this might sound kind of silly, but maybe even just trading voice messages with a friend that you have. I have a friend, we trade voice messages all the time. And that's really how we talk a lot of the times. Doing that is helpful because you're getting the reps in. Just hopping on the phone and having a conversation at least, a couple times a week or something like that with a friend or family. And that's very helpful because you're getting the reps in. But slowing down when you speak is super helpful. And listen to people who you like how they communicate. Speaking slowly. Embrace brief silences during speech. And you can see that I've even done that here. This might be a little bit of a ramble, but it's more of a structured ramble. And you embrace the silences so the words that you say have a larger impact. And maybe it's more often than not that you do that, but it's having strategic silences when you communicate to make the words that you say more impactful. And maybe it's a specific point that you really drop on someone and you're really trying to drive it home. Maybe it's something that's deep and that's going to hit the emotional strings of that person. Pausing. The silence is very, very powerful. Also by adapting the speaking pace to the situation, right? At sometimes you might be moving quickly, more quick than you would other times through certain sentences or topics, and then other times you're going to slow down. And again, I think using words in your vocabulary that are normal for you, that are more natural for you. Don't try to sound smarter and don't try to sound like more of an intellect. Just try to speak how you are, right? Be you. Don't try to use big words. If that's how you are, then that's fine. But I think just coming from a more natural place and really just being mindful, slowing down and being mindful. Also read 30 minutes every single day. There is no reason why you cannot be reading 20 to 30 minutes focused reading every single day. Gives you fresh ideas, gives you fresh perspectives. It makes you smarter. That's all there is to it, man. It's so much value in that. Dynamic delivery. Now I'm in a different sales position now in my corporate career. It's more of an outside sales role where I'm around people. And so generally how I speak on the camera is really exactly how I speak in real life. I might exaggerate slightly on the camera because it's a little bit different, just a slight exaggeration. But for the most part, I'm speaking exactly how I would in real life. And that's using hand gestures, that's utilizing strategic pauses in your communication, that's moving around, that's being engaging, it's being dynamic, it's slowing down in your tonality. You see how I did that right there? Higher and then lower. And you are able to better hold that person's attention. Like when I was doing high ticket sales, I was working for a really big YouTuber at the time, and very big on articulation, very big on tonality, right? And that tonality is what I did right there when we drop very low, we slow down, and then we can raise our voice. So utilizing your tonality is super important just to keep people engaged, right? So this is going to be a short one. Again, I just had a few bullet points that I wanted to rip because I used to struggle with this, man. I used to freaking have like a cat's got my tongue. Read more, okay? Slow down. Be mindful of what you're about to say. People talk too fast. They don't pause enough. Slow down. I promise. Nothing is more annoying when somebody is just constantly using filler words like and I used to do it all the time. Now I hardly ever do. Of course, it happens every now and then. We're not perfect. You might slip up with your communication, but that's all there is to it, man. Also, I started doing more YouTube videos now where I'm standing up because it helps my voice. When I'm on the phone talking, I feel that my voice has a stronger presence when I'm talking standing up, moving around. It's a bit more engaging. I have a bit of a deeper resonance in my voice. And by the way, guys, you can talk shit in the comments. I know I don't have a deep voice at all. I'm not going to coach you on that because I haven't fully mastered that yet. All right. Not even anywhere near that, but I am who I am. Don't try to be someone that you're not. That's what I want to tell you guys, man. Be yourself. Get the reps in. That's all I got for you guys today, man. But if the video was helpful, like the video, let me know in the comments if you struggle with speaking or articulation, because I'd really like to know. And subscribe. I'm dropping videos every single week, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.